What's up, people? It's Objective Culture. My name's Spade,
Sluda.
and not really sure what episode this is. I'm probably gonna stop doing the episodes.
Yep.
Today we're gonna talk about a video that I seen maybe last week on the internet. It was Dame Dash on All the Smoke podcast, talking to Steven Jackson about what his dreams were. I believe the conversation was.
Yeah.
And Steven Jackson was saying that one of his dreams was to be an actor. And Dame Dash said, okay, so why don't you do it? And Steven Jackson started going into the reasons why he believed he can't just jump into acting. And Dame Dash was saying, like, no, I did it. Like, I wasn't an actor. I didn't have nothing special. I literally just wrote a script and acted in a movie. And Steven Jackson was, making more excuses about it. And he said, look, you literally right now have a camera crew. You have a room here to do it in. You have a space. You have the available people, lighting. You have all the stuff you need. Why can't you just do it right now? And Steven Jackson was giving more pushback. He was like, all right, well, watch this. I'll go be the director, and we just going to have you act real quick.
Came up with a scenario.
He came up with a scenario and everything.
Said action. And he went.
And he actually did all right. Steven Jackson actually did all right. So the topic I wanted to talk about today was, why do we put up these barriers in between us and our dreams when there are times when we actually do have the means to go about chasing whatever it is we want to do? Why do you think that is?
Ultimately, I think it's a fear. One of the things I think is a fear of failure. And sometimes, even though resources are available, doubt comes in. It's like, oh, well, I don't have this and I don't have that, so I can't do this because I don't have. And they end up actually blocking out the fact that they really do have everything accessible to them. But because they're already telling themselves what's not available to them, now they can't even think of what actually is. Okay. But I think more than that, though, the fear of failure is like, oh, I want to risk doing it, but it's a risk. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of people find themselves holding themselves back because whatever their dream is would require them to sacrifice something
or risk or take a risk.
Yeah, and it was like, well, I'm safe right here, and I know what I got. I know what I'm working with this. So taking that leap, I don't know. So then we end up holding ourselves back. I'm a witness to it. I've done it myself. I've lived it. So I know how, the fear can grip you from doing what you ultimately really want to do.
Yeah, I could speak on that too. I know from experience about that also, both personally from myself and somebody else that I was supposed to be going on a venture with.
Absolutely.
The fear of, well, I'm going to have to give up what I'm doing comfortably right now to start this.
Right.
And that's a real thing.
Yo, for real.
But there are different levels to the fear also.
Yeah,
because one
absolutely.
thing is financially, the financial fear. What if I put this amount of money into it where I'm not comfortable anymore and it fails? And there's also the aspect of, what if everybody laughs at me? What if nobody approves of it? What if nobody supports me? You know what I mean? I know that's a big part of it too. That was a big reason why, because I have a million ideas all the time.
Absolutely.
But it's like, well, what if nobody cares? What if nobody supports me? What if everybody just look at it as a joke?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And that train of thought and that way of thinking is what ends up keeping us from even, accepting the fact that it's possible. So it's like, it's very hard. And it's like, well, what do? Do you go out there and do you just take that risk and you just take that chance and you step out and you actually go for it? But then everything else is still it's always there as a possibility of, dang, this really might happen if this don't work out. And then what do I do after this don't work out? So it's like, it's understandable to be fearful. Like, I know some people personally who use the fear as a motivation. And it's like, all right, I don't want to go back there, so I'm going to strive to keep myself from going back there. So it's like they use where they are as a tool to move forward. So people use different things to motivate themselves to actually, you know, do the things that they want to do. And then there's people like me, and like he just said, like him, who just, you know, take the, I don't want to say pessimistic side of it, but take that side of doubt.
No, I'm Mr. Pessimistic. I'll own up to it. I'm Mr. Pessimistic.
Take that, you know, that pessimistic route, and we talk ourselves out of a lot of stuff that we ultimately really have the potential to actually do and achieve.
Yeah, I guess I don't want to be the person to say that nothing's possible, but it's also setting a realistic expectation for what you're doing. If you set
and that's what Steven Jackson was trying to say, but what Dame was just saying, like, yo, you have everything you need. So our situation and Steven Jackson's situation is completely different. Steven Jackson is a former NBA player. He played basketball for a good amount of time. He has the resources available to him to literally, you know, get what he wanted. His crutch, so to speak, was what he wanted to do. He wanted theater. He wanted like it to be seen across the world. So he wanted to like jump right to
level 100.
Yeah. Like he didn't want to take the steps to being an up and coming actor. He just wanted actor. So it's like that's what held him back mentally, because he didn't believe that he can get straight to that point of just being a very, very well received actor, you know, in the United States.
Well, that kind of comes back to what I was saying too, because I think what was making him think that way is, well, how will I reach that if I start in a low budget movie or a low budget acting scene? If I start on level 10, how could anybody ever take me seriously to where I could get to the level where I want to be, where it's, you know, a big blockbuster deal? But that's part of the process.
Right.
That's part of the grind. Sometimes you have to start from the bottom. Sometimes you have to start in a room with a backdrop on 2 stools. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You have to start somewhere.
Yeah.
And that's another thing that set us back. We say, well, I don't think I'll ever make it to where I want to be. So I'm not going to try until I think that I can just start off
there
where I want to be.
Yeah.
And that's another unrealistic expectation, like I was saying.
Absolutely. Because for what Steven wanted specifically, there's success stories all over Facebook and YouTube about how people have started with just a room and a backdrop and some people with a little script, and now they are some of the biggest YouTubers, biggest personalities. They on their way to produce their own stuff. They got their own studios. Like, they've come from literally nothing and have built themselves up. And these are people that was working regular jobs and was like, all right, I got fired. Cool. Just what I want to go into, what I really want to do. This is what I really want to do. I'm going to make this work. I'm going to make this happen. And here they are, 2020, and they have made that dream a reality.
Yeah, and a lot of people people around you will set that doubt in your head, like, oh, well, why are you even going to waste your time? You're not going to be an NBA player. You're not going to be a millionaire YouTuber. You're not going to be in blockbuster movies. So why even, waste your time doing it?
Right.
So that's when some of that doubt start to set in, because other people put that doubt in your mind, like, you know what, you might be right. Why would I even start if I know I'm not going to reach?
Right.
Because there's only X amount of slots in the NBA. There's X amount of, people do that a lot. There's gatekeepers here. You have to be able to do this and it's like, that's something that keep people held back. Because it's like, well, if I'm never going to make it there, because you know what, they're right. I'm never going to make it there because there is an opportunity for me to. And it's like, no, well, what if you don't get in blockbuster movies, but you make a hit regionally, you know what I mean? Or in your own country or whatever, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, why don't you scale back the expectation? That way, once you do get there, now you have something else to strive for, which is what Dame was saying. He was saying, we'll set the first goal. Once you get to that goal, pass it. Because he was like, your goal was to make it to the NBA, right? You did it. Your goal was to win a championship? You did it. Why not just keep setting the goals and keep going up from there instead of saying, all right, I done did 1 or 2 things.
Right.
Now I got to go for the highest thing I want right now or nothing.
You definitely got to like manage expectations. Like a lot of this stuff I'm learning for myself. You got to manage your expectations and prioritize them how they need to go accordingly. So if you want to get to level 100 in any aspect, find out what you need to do to start off. And then set those little short-term goals. Like, all right, okay, I did this. Now let me do this. All right, we did this, accomplished that. And let's go to this. And that way, at some point, sooner or later, it may take a few years. It may take a few months. But as long as you're working to get there, it's going to happen eventually. Whatever the eventually is on the timetable, it's going to happen as long as you're willing to put that work in to achieve what you wanted to achieve.
I know a lot of the time my thing too is like maybe I just missed the window. It was a time for this. Everybody did what they had to do to get into it, and then I tell myself, well, I just missed it. Yeah. There's no point in even trying because I can't catch that wave now. That's one of the things that I think hold people back, like I said. And if you want to expound on that while I try to think of the other point that I was just trying to come up with.
I think like as far as that train of thought, like I understand it, but I feel like any time can be your time as long as you really can get yourself to the point of actually doing it. I don't think there's any real parameter on whatever it is you want to do. If you want to go into clothing, fashion, YouTubing, anything, like whatever you want to get into, there's always that like the window never closes, because there's always the chance that what you do is going to be so different from what you're able to bring to the table that somebody else sees and they say, oh shoot, I didn't even think about doing that like that. That's mad creative. That's mad dope. And it's like, oh shoot, I thought that because that wave already passed, nobody would even be thinking like that no more, because that was 2 years ago, that was 3 years ago. And so I just went out and I just tried to do it just because, it was always in my heart and in my mind to actually do. So it's like the window never really closes. That's just a mindset, the super pessimism, if you will, that gets you, and you end up thinking like, oh shoot, dang, now I can't even do that because everybody was doing that for a whole year. Now the wave done died down, so I can't even get back into that mode, like creating a line or doing anything of that nature that you would think is a tool to build yourself up to whatever you really want to do. Like with this channel, like we just started it just because we always talking about stuff. You know what I'm saying? So why not get behind the camera and just talk?
And I'm not gonna lie, that was a thing that I did too. I'm like, well, this person already got this person already got that, person. And it's only so many people that could be in that mode. But I just remember my thought from before, basing your progress and success off of other people's progress and success. You can't do that because everybody starts at different, starting lines. Everybody doesn't have the same tools and resources and everything. So you can't say, well, this person did this in a month or in 2 months or 3 months, and I've been doing it for 2 or 3 months, and I'm nowhere near where they was. So I might as well just scrap it. That's another thing that I do a lot.
Yeah, you do. Yeah.
So that's another thing that I think kind of hold us back is looking at other people's progress and other people's success, and completely comparing it to what we're doing when it's not even the same. You know what I mean? The same starting line that you start at.
Right. Now I completely understand that, because that's a human nature thing. It's like, dang, we doing the same thing, and they seem like they up here, and I'm still trotting along down here, and we started at the same point. We trying to do the same stuff, and it's like, dang, man, why? All right, I'll just let them have it then. I ain't even gonna worry about it. I understand getting to that place mentally. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I'll just say to you and to anybody else that would think like that, like, just keep going, just keep pushing. At some point, you gonna end up breaking through that ceiling, breaking through that wall, and it's gonna pop, and you're gonna be like, yo, I'm glad I stuck with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, everything is gonna work out when it's supposed to work out. It's all about the drive to continue to do it.
Yeah.
As long as you want to keep doing it, things just gonna follow. Everything you want gonna follow.
Yeah, and it seemed like we always base the progress and success off of the best possible scenario.
Mm-hmm.
Because there are other people who, not to keep plugging people, but like Kev on Stage is one of those people who it was a really slow burn for him.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it doesn't seem like it to us because we started watching him, and a couple years later, he's like the hottest thing smoking. But he said for himself, that was something that he had to deal with, was the slow burn of where he started versus where he ended up now.
Right.
So we can't always base our progress and success off of the best possible scenario when there are other cases out there where it worked out, where it took years and years for somebody to get to where they want to be. You know.
Absolutely. And there's people like him and a lot of other people out there from Facebook that I look at as a like motivational piece. It's like, it took this man 7-8 years before he got to the point where he is now. You know what I'm saying? So it's like everything is going to take its own time. Like, you can't rush the process. All you can do is put in the work. So as long as you want to put in the work, as long as you're dedicated to putting in the work, whatever it is you're doing is just going to happen. Whatever you're trying to work for is going to end up coming to you. The patience of it is what we lack. Being patient because we want it. We want. But it's like seeing the bigger picture of it is going to determine how successful you end up becoming in it. Because if you're going to be impatient and you're going to end up giving up, then, you know, you may as well just not do it.
Yeah. I mean, so all in all, what we wanted to get out of this, the main message is, if you have dreams, just go ahead and follow them. Stop trying to base your success off of other people's success. Those roadblocks in your head are usually exactly that most of the time.
Yeah,
just
in your head.
roadblocks in your head.
In your head.
Everybody moves at different paces. Don't be afraid to take risks. Smart risks, though.
Smart risks.
Not saying
smart,
don't go
calculated risks.
Lose your house, lose your job, don't have a way to eat and all that.
Yeah. If you got a family, take care of your family. Don't.
Smart risks. Smart risks.
Yeah.
But take risks. And yeah, just work. If we all just work, it's enough room out there for everybody to be successful, I feel like.
Yeah.
So, yeah, just work.
You can do it. Believe in yourself. Believe in your craft. Believe in your plan. Everything gonna happen.
That was so corny, but I agree with you.
It was corny, but it means something.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's another episode for y'all.
Yes, sir.
I'm Spade.
Luda.
And until next time.